Enterprise Chaguanas is an urban community in central Trinidad. However, one resident who is no stranger to InspireTT, urban farmer Adrian Sealy, has created Serenity Gardens, a farm in the concrete jungle that can create a model for self-reliance for the central community. The farm is outfitted with an array of vegetables, fruits and chickens that only lies on 2 lots of land. Sitting with the InspireTT team, the urban farmer shared where the idea came from. Alright, Trinidad and Tobago, we're here at InspireTT, yet another exciting episode. We are here in the community of enterprise with no stranger, Adrian Sealy. I mean, he has been on InspireTT twice. And he's always doing something interesting for his community. Just by his t-shirt alone, you could know that he loves where he's from. But today we're going to do something a bit different. And we are talking about agriculture and definitely sharing the story of Adrian's passion for agriculture, but doing it in an urban setting. We're actually on Adrian's farm, Serenity Gardens, by the urban farmer. And we're going to delve in further as we see the different types, because he's rearing chickens, he has eggs, he has a variety of exotic crops, local crops, and definitely it's now coming out of the blocks, and definitely we are here just to share what is possible in urban communities. So Adrian, it's a pleasure to have you on InspireTT yet again. Tell me, where did the idea come from? Because we're actually on Crown Tracing Enterprise.
Yes, certainly. So, welcome to Serenity Gardens by the urban farmer.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and as you indicated, we are in the heart of enterprise. This is something really uncommon in what is deemed somewhat of a concrete jungle.
Yes.
In discussion with my wife and really taking a keen interest in what is happening, especially where climate change is concerned. We acquired just about 2 lots of land. And from there we decided that, you know what, we'll just do a kitchen garden. However, over the years, which is just probably about a year and a half, through research, I came across a term called permaculture and regenerative agriculture. So what we did is that we partitioned the land in terms of a short crop and then a food forest. Yes. So the idea really birthed out of a discussion I had with my wife.
We know that agriculture is actually a hot topic because of food security. And what was it? I mean, because it's not just acquiring a piece of land and do a kitchen garden. What was the passion that would have given you the ability to do that?
Yeah, so in secondary school, I would have done agriculture at the CXC level. And whilst doing my BSc in Occupational Safety, Health and Environmental Studies, a particular interest really piqued in terms of the environment. You know, I could recall vividly seeing a video presentation. And the video presentation really is that you had a frog. And the frog was placed in a pot of boiling water. And with that, the frog immediately leaped out of the water. Yes. However, in another segment, a frog was placed in a pot of water again, and gradually the temperature was increased. And instead of actually leaping out, the frog died. And this is exactly what is happening in terms of climate change. The earth is actually getting hotter in terms of the climate, as the case may be.
Yes.
And research has shown in terms of actually combating the greenhouse emission, in terms of planting trees and bringing that level of greenery, you know, it could really move in terms of, how they say, saving our planet.
Yes. So, Adrian is here in Serenity Gardens, and he invited InspireTT to see what he has been doing. And it's such an amazing environment, because when we came, we saw chickens running out, we saw eggs, and Michael is going to go on the tour in a short while to share more on that. And the thing about it, Adrian, you have been very active in the enterprise community for many years. I know that you were part of the Rudan Dojo, you are now part of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Central Community Policing Unit. And why you see enterprise as such as I know you're born here and it's closer, but you always try to do things to uplift the area. What is the driving and inspirational factor that pushes you in that direction?
Enterprise is home. And when things are not as you want at home, you don't just leave. You do what it takes to make it better. So as you would have indicated, I would have been involved in community work for over 25 years. And really the passion would have ignited. And it so happened that by the grace of the Almighty, I'm also a part of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Community Policing Section. And again, in terms of the Serenity Gardens, just by the name Serenity, is ready to bring about a degree of peace and tranquility in the community. From our very first interview, I said that enterprise, just by the name, says a lot.
True.
And we are doing our part, not just myself, but other stakeholders, to make enterprise that thriving community that we know it can and shall be.
I know that you intend to expand the farm as it's growing, as it's growing day by day. What initiatives? 'Cause I know you also want to have it as a community project. What are some of the initiatives that you have in mind that will encompass the community to get involved and be able to from people who may have spaces to do similar to what you're doing?
Yeah, so again, just looking at COP26 in terms of the climate change and also the United Nations development goals. Very briefly, Goal 1 really spoke about ending poverty in all its forms.
Yes.
Goal 2 speaks about combating hunger, proper nutrition, and sustainable agriculture, right? Just moving on, Goal 13 really speaks about combating, the climate change. So these are things that, would have dawned on me. And actually having a good rapport in the community, what I'm really seeking to do is to involve some of the youths in the community in agriculture. In fact, under the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Central Division Community-Oriented Policing Section, we have already embarked on such projects, one in Chrissy Terrace, and the other is in Hoover, the Bridge and Castle Police Youth Club. So it's ready to get the youths involved in agriculture, not just in terms of the planting of seeds as the case may be, but also producing a final product in terms of the processing. So what I'm trying to do as much as is creating a green space in the community is also to create a degree of employment. In addition to that, is selling the produce at a reduced price for persons in the community so that they can benefit as well.
Going a bit deep into what is happening behind us, because the farm is actually behind us, what is the thought process? Because I know you are self-taught. Despite you would have done it at CXW, you are self-taught. What would have been the thinking in regards of choosing the right crops? Because we know there are different species of crops you have here that you may not see elsewhere.
Yeah, so, we have to know what is available, how to receive it, and what to do with it when you receive it. We are in the technology age. So in terms of the resource content, it's already there. So I would have done an in-depth amount of research. I also have looked at local content in terms of persons who are already involved in agriculture. And it's really a turning point. You mimic what you see in terms of persons who are where you would like to be, and you see counsel with them. So for instance, Mr. Omardath Maharaj is someone who I would have followed extensively, and I would have learned a lot from him. So I would have incorporated some of these aspects in it. I would have reached out to Mr. Omardath in terms of seeking counsel, and this is what would have helped in terms of the transformation of this lot of land. And I would show you all some images how it was before to what it is at this present time.
Just a bit on that, because I know I may have skirt over that. This property here, Trinidad and Tobago, was actually a place where people dumped rubbish, and it was an eyesore, and Adrian saw the opportunity. But what you see behind is now a thriving garden that will provide food for so many people. And just for those who are now joining us on InspireTT, just wanted to say welcome. Thanks for joining us, and continue watching us. You can go onto our YouTube channel, go on our Facebook page, and you can definitely see more content. And definitely, if you're enjoying this one, like, share, and comment. Adrian, just coming back to what this space was before you would have transformed it into what it is today. What was it to you for the many years when you would have seen it?
Well, as you indicated, I reside in Crown Chase Enterprise more or less all my life. In fact, I live just across the street.
Yes.
And this part of our community, having been unkept for many years, you would find that a lot of refuge, would have been dumped on this land. So it definitely was an eyesore. And again, as we are speaking about environmental preservation, it was doing just the opposite. So again, through the interest that I had and recognizing that what we would love for our community to be, I took certain actions along with my wife to really purchase and develop the land.
Interesting. Definitely inspirational, Trinidad and Tobago. So, we have Adrian Sealy here. I know many of you all want to see what is happening here at Serenity Gardens on Crown Trace in Enterprise, and definitely to share what is happening behind us. And basically, Michael going to take you on a tour and see some amazing stuff. You're going to see some eggs being reared, some chickens. You're going to see lettuce, mulberry, different types of melanjan, you name it. It's all here, and definitely here on InspireTT, we're going to show you it right here.
Michael.
Your gate open here?
So,
welcome.
Yeah, welcome to Serenity Gardens.
Aye.
Urban farmer, heart of enterprise here in Crown Trace at this time.
When you say heart, how heart?
Pure heart.
Pure
Can't
heart.
get much more center than that.
All right, so we're on our tour here. Guys, welcome back to InspireTT, and if you haven't as yet, go onto the page, share the video. We need your interaction, we need your engagement. So what's the difference between an urban farmer and a regular farmer?
But the beautiful thing in terms of urban farming, as you can see, there are vehicles passing on either side there are houses. So it's an already developed area. And what you have already is the farming in the heart of that. Normally when you think farming, you think about rural areas.
Yeah.
You don't really think about it in build-up areas and cities and what have you. But we are changing that concept here at Serenity Gardens by the urban farmer.
And on the concept of the urban farmer, right? Where you find that?
Researching, I knew I always had an interest in terms of farming, but as I say, traditionally when you think farming, you think rural. I knew that I live in an urban area. So the concept more or less joined in terms of farming and in an urban area. And whilst doing some research, I realized that in places like the States and what have you, is a very familiar concept in terms of urban farming.
And Adrian, what's your words of advice for members of the public who might have spaces similar? You don't have all the agricultural space to motivate them to get into agriculture.
But the beautiful thing about it, contrary to popular belief, you don't need much space to do agriculture, you know. But you use a pigtail bucket, a construction bucket, you get going with it. So whatever space you may have, you utilize that, you plant your little lettuce, your little tomato, and you get going.
What we looking at here?
So what we have here in Serenity Gardens, we actually have two parts. We have the first part where we do short crops. So we have some lettuce that we have put down just Saturday. We have some kale, as you can see the kale are more or less utilized because again, in the community, we sell the produce at reduced prices. So we have some kale, exotic kale, not just the usual green kale, but you've seen some of the purple kale, some of the purple cabbage. To my extreme left as well too. I mean, Trinidad so you must have a little flavor.
Yeah.
And this is one of the best seasoning, especially for your curry duck and what have you. So this is the short-term crop side of the Serenity Gardens.
And a little bit of technology we've seen here. What kind of technology is this?
But again, I won't lie to you, I did not know too much about agriculture.
Yeah.
Right? It's just about a year and a half, but nonetheless I came across something called drip irrigation. You know, so I would have done my necessary research, and it's actually hooked up to a timer. So 4 times per day, these heads will come on and it will supply the plants with the required water.
So I mean, you working full time, right, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm working full time. I'm a martial arts instructor. I'm a community man. I'm a police officer, and I'm an urban farmer.
And that's the main point when I get to you here on InspireTT, right? So Adrian found a different way to occupy his time. And the future of farming for you, because I know you say your family involved as well.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, I volunteer on this garden. My son and my nephew, they are the ones who more or less are the front line. So I come by, I volunteer, especially in this COVID-19 time.
Yeah.
It's really a good stress reliever. You know, to actually come by, do some gardening, and again, being in an urban area, it's very uncommon to see, you know, butterflies, bees, you know, hummingbirds and what have you. So by incorporating this urban garden settings in the community, we are bringing back that level of tranquility, you know, just being in touch and in tune with nature. And
this might be an off-the-cuff question, but as you say, it's an urban space. Why do you like everybody else and put a little piece of apartment or something like that? Why you choose to do agriculture in your space?
In between the period of 2019 and 2021, I remember reading an article whereby the Minister of Trade and Industry, Mrs. Paula Gopi-Schoon, would have indicated that we would have spent over $75 million in terms of our food export. So when it is that we look at it and we need to take a lesson from the COVID-19, it's not all negative. In times of adversity and scarcity, countries that have, they will keep for the survival of their population, and we can't blame them for that. So Trinidad and Tobago, when I really see it, we need to start producing, right? And whatever we produce, we must also consume.
Okay.
I think we have acquired a taste, especially. We much prefer the apple as opposed to the pomerac
Or the mango.
or the mango.
Or
You know?
or the mulberry.
But I mean, we bring in a little thing at the same time.
Or
you
the
know?
dogs or too, is it?
Yeah, you know, so we have to, you know, start to put a lot more emphasis on our local production, our local produce, right? So that's why we didn't go to the traditional building of a structure, but we went into the agriculture.
And what we seen on this side of the
But
farm?
this side is still developing, right? But what we are going to do right now, and I mean, when we reach that stage where you all are picking, I'm sorry that you all may not be able to consume it on camera. But what we have here, this particular pepper, this is called the ghost pepper, right?
Ooh,
It's
the hot thing.
Yeah, the hot thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
over, I think, a million on the Scoville unit. We have somebody, the bird pepper coming.
Yeah.
But within about the next 2 weeks or so, we'll have some more bird pepper, some California Reaper and what have you. So this is more or less going to be the pepper section.
Okay.
So when you want to do a little curry duck or your curry chicken, your curry goat or whatnot, this is the section that will be coming in.
So I'm just trying to understand your concept. So really and truly, you created a space so that maybe not probably right now, but in the future, your family could come and live off this land that's right across the road.
Certainly, and not just my family, but again, community members. You know, one of the beautiful things, and I just want to really share this, especially for your viewers who I know are already in tune. Many times, let's look at it for instance, tomato.
Yeah.
We buy the tomato, we cut it, we utilize it, but we throw away the seeds.
Yeah.
From one tomato, the amount of seeds that we can get that will translate into plants, that will translate into tomatoes. So this is really the way that we need to think. And if it's one thing at all, this is what I would love to inspire the viewers of InspireTT to take up. You know?
And on that note, Adrian saying go back to the land, as you rightly said with COVID-19, we see the importance of food is high in the country.
Yes.
And this might be one of the ways for us to be able to be more self-sustainable and being able to be an example to the rest of the Caribbean too as well.
Yeah. Just add to that, whilst combating the negative effects of climate change.
But that's
So it's
next
a
big
win-win
topic.
situation.
All right, so we're seeing pepper, we're seeing lettuce, we're seeing kale, we're seeing some form of seasoning, I've seen corn in the corner here, and yet we have our next space that we're going to explore.
Certainly.
Let me go to the next one.
Very good. So I have something really excited. So what we are going to walk into here right now is the food forest section of Serenity Gardens, and I'll explain the concept of the
A food forest. And
Food
I'm going to
forest.
ask that question, so
Yeah.
read my mind.
But let me just show you something right now, right? Here's the beautiful thing. We have some chickens now, and contrary to popular belief, you may hear about free-range chicken. But what we have here is pasture-raised chicken. And the difference is that these chickens are outside all day, more or less eating the grains, eating the mulberry. But they are also very disciplined. Look at this. And look at them coming there.
What?
Right?
So, we can eat these chicken, boy?
Nah,
The
these
train-
chickens, right? This particular brand, type of chicken is called the Issa Brown.
All right.
Really prolific, really family oriented,
So,
and as I can see, really obedient.
wow. So,
Right?
auto you think I can get a pet chicken or?
Of course, this is a good breed if you want to get a pet chicken. And you'll get eggs basically every day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What the kids feel like when they come in a space like this?
But that's the beautiful thing about in terms of the gardening, right? And as I say, going back to the land. You know, it's a way for them to actually connect with nature and connect with the environment. And, you know, my son, my nephew, they would have literally grown up with the chickens as well. So they are comfortable very much with it, you know? So they are very good, but I know I would have mentioned the concept in terms of the food forest.
Yeah.
And a food forest really mimics a natural forest.
Okay.
A natural forest ideally has 7 different layers of trees. You have the canopy,
Yeah.
you have the sub-canopy, you have what is called the herbaceous layer, shrubs, ground layer, vine crops, and the root crops. So how are we going to put that into a food forest section now? So for instance, a canopy, that would be like a breadfruit,
Okay.
a avocado, a pomerac, right? The sub-canopies are those trees that are a little shorter, so it might be a little mango tree, a little guava, right? In terms of like the shrubs, you have like the lemon and what have you. Herbaceous layer simply means trees that don't really have a woody structure. So for instance, the fig, the plantain,
Okay.
right? When you're looking at the root crops, of course, we're looking at our ground provisions and what have you. the vine crops. We have like the grapes
Okay.
that running on the vine. We have some beans running on the vine. You know, in terms of the ground layer, we mentioned before, we have like the lettuce, the pak choy, the kale, which are more or less short crops. So this is what we are doing, incorporating 7 different, how to say, layers of plants, you know, that produce food. And this is really the concept of a food forest.
Well, I'll tell you something. If only final looking kind of lost, right? I still try to digest herbaceous.
Yeah, herbaceous.
I still try to digest.
Yeah. But
you're sure you're a policeman and not a scientist, right?
Well, the
kind of
thing
words
about
ahead
but,
cannot be.
but this particular tree, I mean, I just wanted to try one of the fruits off of this. It's a mulberry. It's the ever-bearing mulberry, right? So which means it basically always has, right? You're lucky that there's still one because my son, he literally police this tree.
Mulberry.
Mulberry.
And if you guys want to know if Mike knows a mulberry tree, yes, thanks to Deer Valley. Carl, thank you for that experience. And if you missed that episode, you can go across to the InspireTT page and you definitely see more content like that one. And you see me tasting more local food.
So try one from Crown Trace now. You need to try you see that these are dark purple.
The dark one?
No, the dark purple. It's rich in antioxidants.
I've seen a dark purple one.
Nah, try this one right here. I know in terms of the coloration.
Nah. You're trying to make me eat something that looking bad there, man.
No, this is the
sure?
best. But you are in Crown Trace, you are in Enterprise, you only produce the best.
Best of the best?
The best of the best. Straight off the tree. Don't get much better than that.
Trinidad, this is almost like jam, boy.
And that's the next thing too. You could utilize it to make jam.
Wow.
Quality off the chain.
Carl, there some competition in Crown Trace Enterprise alone.
Yeah. Beautiful.
What you want to say again?
Well, the thing about it, I mean, you can't have a garden and not have sugar cane. So we have some sugar cane right now. I mean, you have had the experience of picking or cutting sugar cane as the case may be?
Yeah,
well,
your boy grew up in Warrenville, so that sugar cane
well,
was
alright,
behind,
nice,
so
man.
we used to run through the cane field. I think that's one of the childhood memories, actually.
But one of the memories I know you didn't have is cutting sugar cane in Crown Trace.
No.
We're going to create that memory today.
Right,
so we have some sugar cane on the side here. Right? I'll just go and get the blade for you. And you think. So in the meantime, choose the 1 or 2 or 3 that you would like to have. All good. Size in terms of the thickness, right?
So this is a good one?
This is a good one, right? So just to kind of separate it, we can just pull it down just a little bit.
Cut at the base.
Just cut at the base.
That
You think so good, yeah?
It cut for itself, right?
We have to bring back some more of them boy days. Normally it's just one, and we go on with it, but...
I hear you. Right head?
Yeah, all they are good to go, man. Right? And again, grown in Crown Trace. If you would have seen this area just about a year and a half, without exaggeration, right? Overgrown, really littered with refuge and what have you. So it's just a wonderful feeling to know you can just take a walk in your community and get some good sugar cane, right? And this is black sugar cane, you know? So these are just some of the things that we have in Crown Trace, in Serenity Gardens by the Urban Farm. I realize you cut the cane, you're holding it in your hand, you tell me if I'm modeling. You had to test the cane, but from experience, right? And I'll just help you, because I know we're on camera and it's rolling. The sweetest part of the cane tends to be down at the base.
Down at the base,
down at the base. So anyway, all around here, these joints here, you can take a little strike off it and you're improving, man, you're improving.
Alright. I'll take down the master again, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. All right, well, good. I thought you was going to use the cutlass to cut today. Yeah. So this is how we peel cane, yes, man. Sugar, right? Sugar. Yeah.
Shoot on the auto.
That quality. And that's what we are doing. The beautiful thing about it in terms of the type of gardening and farming that we do, we don't use any harsh chemicals. So for instance, for the insects, we tend to use like the neem oil to keep out with the insects. And this is a good preventative means, right? So as far as reasonably possible, you try not to use any kind of toxics or anything. So it don't get much better than this.
Definitely carrying home some cane for the water.
Yeah, of course, man.
Like going to the next episode.
Yeah. One of the beautiful things, and I look forward to this literally every day, is more or less the air collection, right? But for this part of it, I mean, as I indicated, it's really a family initiative, a family vibe. So I'll have my son and my nephew show you. But before we get to that, let me just explain the setup to you now.
Yeah.
one of the beautiful things that we try to do, keeping it as green and as clean as possible, right, is that we would utilize solar lights, right? So the chicken run, and this is called a chicken run, it's outfitted with solar lights. We capture the rainwater by means of the
When you
gutter.
say a chicken run,
All right, so a chicken run essentially means we have the chicken coop. The chicken run is really an area. If it is, let's say, for instance, the chicken want to just go in the shade and what have you, but yet still there is enough space for them to move around freely, right? So you notice that it's enclosed. As much as they are outside all day, they can go in, they can get their food and what have you. So this is called a chicken run. You can take a walk inside.
yeah.
And the setup is really simple. In fact, we can do this on a smaller scale, right in the back of your home. The thing about it, especially as I say, in terms of COVID time, we are looking for additional means of income, and we may not always have the time. So for instance, these are your regular 4-inch PVC pipe that is filled with the feed, and just with a little physics, they will come down so the chickens and they will feed freely. This is just some oyster shells that will help in terms of the quality of the egg shell.
Okay.
Right? So as I was explaining, we capture the rainwater, it comes into this tank right here.
Yeah.
And from the tank, it goes into these water outlets right here.
So you mean your maintenance doesn't have to be every day come in and check your chicken?
Exactly. So I don't ever have to give these chicken water, and let's say like probably once every 3 weeks or so, I will come in and just top up this.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing about it, the chicken even drinking rainwater.
Oh wow.
Right? So this is the setup here. For this
So everything is
aspect
sustainable, everything is organic, everything is with the idea of helping you sustain and being able to give back to your community as well.
Exactly. Quality products as the case may be.
Aesthetically, how do you feel to be in the urban community but still bringing the farm to the community as well?
It's a surreal feeling. You know, what I tend to do is on early mornings, late evening, I will just come and sit down in the farm, listen to the birds, listen to the chicken. And it's really a wonderful concept. Definitely to really see the beauty of this in terms of the food forest side. It will take you roughly about 7 years, more so for the trees to be fully developed. But nonetheless, what we are doing in terms of...
So you mean to get your canopy, right?
To get it... right, good. To get that canopy and to get that structure. It will take some time, but nonetheless, the beautiful thing is that, as you can see, we are already reaping produce. And this is just a year and a half, right?
And the mental benefits to you and your family. I mean, we're going to bring across your son in a little bit, help you get some eggs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see, the beautiful thing about gardening is also very therapeutic. And you see that having that family time, actually being out on the field, spending that time with the family, actually planting a tree and seeing it grow and then produce fruit is something that is remarkably soothing. It honestly don't get much better than this. My only regret is not doing this at a sooner time. So I would implore Trinidad and Tobago, I would implore the viewers of InspireTT, to get involved in agriculture, regardless of what scale it may be. Get involved in agriculture, get involved in farming. And
also too, Adrian is his story of being from this particular community and still giving back. I want to say you are inspiring us here on InspireTT as well, as a young man being able to inspire other young men in your own community. As you bring in your son? Yes,
so definitely. So my son and my nephew, they will be coming and look at the joy as they are running dog, right? I know.
Wow.
Yeah, this is definitely the next generation, right? You all say hello, InspireTT.
Hello, InspireTT.
Right?
So this is your young farmers?
Yeah, these are the young farmers. In fact, these are the owners of a Serenity Garden, right? I just volunteer, right? So, can you all help us get some eggs?
Yeah.
Right? They will like to see the eggs that we
so
get from chicken.
they're very much involved in the farm?
Very much involved in the farm. In fact, I had some of my co-workers, when they saw my son actually holding the chicken and caring for the chicken, they were taken aback, because it really brought back them to when they were younger, as the case may be. But I think over time is something that we probably lost in terms of that connect with the environment, connect with the animals and what have you. So they are very much at home, and they are very much at peace. They know the trees, they know when to harvest the mulberry, they know when to harvest the other crops, they know when to harvest the bygone. And that for me, in terms of actually passing on and ensuring that they are able to provide for themselves, at an early age, it says a lot.
All right, so let's go and get some eggs.
Right? So let's go over and get the eggs.
And next week, we'll take that one raw, right?
Right, good. So these are the eggs that we would have received today, right? So these eggs are always fresh, and to be honest, they don't last more than a day or two. Son, put them in the bucket, please.
The young farmers.
Yeah, so
What's his name?
This is Aidan,
Aidan.
and this is Azariah.
Azariah, right?
So notice the degree of care Aidan is already exhibiting. Son, more eggs.
Aidan, we have an egg for you.
Pack,
You have an egg for you, Daddy have an egg for you.
package here, help daddy here.
And what your words advice from fathers who out in these type of communities and may have kids?
But I mean, not just in this community, but Trinidad and by and large, Tobago by and large. You know, it's really important to spend some quality time with your kids. That cannot be underscored. As much as we are preoccupied in terms of, you know, being providers and protectors, it's also important that we make the time to really spend some meaningful time and really engage, you know, with the kids. And just being here, you know, I have learned so much from them in terms of, you know, being patient, in terms of seeing things from a different perspective. So I am also learning. So, you know, as parents, we need to be open-minded, you know, and just make that time to spend with our kids, right? And I think that's all the eggs for today, right? So look at that.
1, 2, 3.
Just from, this is just one day in terms of egg production. You understand? And
14.
almost little to no effort. 14 layers, 14 eggs.
And Adrian, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on InspireTT here today. Thank you for inspiring the nation about the future of agriculture is in safe hands. I'm glad to see that even if young farmers are involved, they're very involved. Thank you once again for being here on InspireTT. This definitely was an interesting show. Go across to the website, go across to the Facebook page, go across to the YouTube page. There are content online that you may have never seen before. Support us, engage with us, comment. Thank you once again. Thanks Otto for being me and the cameras to bring my segment.
Cassava on Serenity Gardens by the urban farmer. And I'm a urban farmer as well.